Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Brinkman and I am going to teach you about the learning disability dyscalculia. Do you have difficulty with place value, quantity, number lines, word problems, counting money and making change, grasping information that is on a graph, sequencing information or events, understanding fractions, recognizing patterns, understanding different units, organizing problems on your paper, or recalling basic math facts? If any of these apply to you, it is very possible that you have a learning disability, and it's called dyscalculia. How common is dyscalculia? It may not be as understood as dyslexia, but it's quite possible that it is just as common. And what exactly is dyscalculia? It is a learning disability that affects your ability to make arithmetical calculations and math-related decisions. Concurring issues and conditions with dyscalculia, it is quite possible that if you have any 4 of these, dyscalculia can concur with that as well. So dyslexia, it's very, very common that if you have dyslexia, you also have dyscalculia. It's estimated that between 43 and 65% of people that have one also have the other. ADHD, which we know as kids having an issue with focusing. So it's quite possible that a student or you can be making a math mistake because of an issue with focusing. So it's recommended that you get evaluated for dyscalculia after your ADHD symptoms are under control so that you can isolate one of the 2 conditions. There's also an issue with executive functioning. So executive functioning is in control of your working memory, flexible thinking, planning, and organizing. So it's quite possible that if you have an issue with your executive functioning, you're also going to have an issue with dyscalculia. Math anxiety, if you are worried about doing math, causes you to be nervous, which also causes you to have poor test scores. So it's very possible that if you have math anxiety, you are also going to have dyscalculia. There are 4 possible causes of dyscalculia that have been isolated. However, there can be more. Genetics are a big problem because you have no control over those. So dyscalculia runs in families. Brain development, there's been a lot of brain imaging happening that's showing differences in activation areas between a person who does not have dyscalculia and a person who does. The environment that you were put in can also have a large effect. Fetal alcohol syndrome, prematurity, and low birth weight, which you do not have control over those. Brain injury, so traumatic brain injuries are possible, and you would get acquired dyscalculia. So you aren't born with it, which are the other 3. But if you had a brain injury, you could all of a sudden have dyscalculia. If you do have dyscalculia, there are a few things that you can do to help you cope. Things such as using your fingers or scratch paper, using visual aids, asking a friend, using graph paper to help you organize your thoughts, using colored pencils to highlight certain parts of equations, using math manipulatives like your base 10 blocks. You can draw pictures for your word problems and doing lots of repetition. So just remember there's always someone you can talk to about dyscalculia. I am not an expert in this field, however, I did learn a lot. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask.